Today, we're getting real and raw. There are some truths about model railroading that a lot of people either dance around or, on the opposite end of the spectrum, make extensive and sometimes valid complaints about. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, my name's Jimmy. Welcome to Coffee and Trains. I am drinking some Caribou coffee here. If you want to tell me what kind of coffee you are drinking and have it featured just like these guys right here, you can do that in the comments below. And who knows, you might see your name on an episode of Coffee and Trains. Cheers, guys. Now, I've done videos on these individual subjects before, and I will link them at the end of this video, but let's go ahead and dive right in. The first model railroad truth that I want to talk about is that the hobby is not what it was in the middle of the last century. There are not model train sets in every store. Most kids do not want a Lionel train set for Christmas. But here's the thing. It's not because kids stopped liking trains. Trust me, just ask my kids. I challenge you to find a kid whose eyes don't light up when they see a train display. What changed were toys. New technologies came out and the toy market broadened rapidly. The time in the days where Tyco and other inexpensive toy-like trains were numbered immediately. But model railroading had an entire other side that was about to have its time to shine. Model railroading, though it had some growing pains, has transitioned into one of the most popular niche hobbies out there. Model railroading is now a hobby of nuance, artistic expression, and collecting. And it has really come of age in the past 10 years. And that leads us into the next truth, which is what the hobby is now versus what it was in the first golden age. Notice I said the first golden age. In model railroading's first golden age, train sets were a staple of the toy aisle. I can even remember Lifelike and Tyco sets that were in toy stores. Model trains were toys, with some catering to modelers that built. Model railroading is a very different hobby now. This is due to the internet. We can openly share our modeling techniques, and smaller niche products are easy to find and buy. This is not something that is unique to model railroading. That toy store that I saw train sets in was Toys R Us, and we all know what happened to that store. Model railroading not only survived, but it has thrived in the age of the internet. Another big truth is age. There is always the question of age in model trains. Let's look a bit deeper into that, though. Model railroading, in terms of the modeling side of the hobby, has always been a hobby that leaned into either very young kids or older people. This is simply because the hobby is not the cheapest hobby in the world. So kids would get a train set from their parents and play with that, or older people will get into it when they have more disposable income after their kids leave the house. But this is changing as well. We're seeing the average age of model railroaders slightly lowering now. More people in their 30s are getting into this hobby. We're still seeing the lowest group being in their late teens and 20s, but this is totally understandable due to the lower amounts of disposable income as a younger person. Though this is changing too because of the advent of the shelf and small switching layouts, which lower the cost of entry. You can build one of these layouts for less, which is why we are seeing a surge of younger modelers building these type of layouts. One truth that is a pain point for many, myself included, this one really stings, is the loss of brick and mortar hobby shops. And this one really hurts because we all have those memories of going to hobby shops and seeing all those trains for sale. Now, these stores do exist. They haven't completely gone, but not in the same frequency that they used to. Many hobby shops have gone online, and they have seen a resurgence in their sales, and they have really come back to life. But many just couldn't adapt and had to close, and this is the saddest part of the story of model railroading, and it truly saddens me when a store that I have gone to closes. The thing, though, is that this is not a unique phenomenon to model railroading. Brick and mortar stores have been under assault from online retailers. This is a massive cultural shift and not simply I don't want to buy trains here anymore. So actually, in a way, model train shops have done a better job of pivoting to online sales than a lot of other businesses. It's not the same as in the past, but they've done a pretty good job. And I've actually seen one near me expand and take over an adjacent storefront. So that's some good news. This is definitely not the case for all, but a lot of them have done all right. The biggest truth involves cost. Yes, the dollar amount for locomotives and rolling stock has gone up, but that's if we don't take into account inflation. And I know that's a touchy subject right now, and I'm not going to get too much into that. The bottom line, though, is that buying power of the dollar has decreased since the first golden age of model railroading. And if you track adjusted prices for inflation, the prices have stayed fairly even with buying power. The big shift that is most noticeable is the loss of inexpensive trains. They are still there, and I've done an entire video on that. But the higher detail, more expensive models that have always been expensive, they're just what's driving the market now. We're also getting a lot more for our money, though. One thing I do miss, though, are kits. Even if manufacturers could ship us locomotives unassembled for like $50 off, that would be neat. Hey, scale trains, I would totally be okay with assembling an operator Gevo if it was $70. Just saying. So one thing you probably noticed was I kept saying the first golden age of model trains. And what did I mean by that? Well, model railroading is in the midst of a resurgence, and I know it's something that you're not really thinking about right now, but it really is. We're seeing more and more products come out, and the detail on the models is frankly phenomenal. I mean, some of what I call the mid-major scales like S-scale are even making a comeback. This is all fueled by the internet and social media. We're all interconnected and share in this hobby. We even seen new markets open up, like what's happening with 3D printing model trains in India. I've even been contacted by companies in China who want to show off their Chinese-specific model trains. In addition to this, we've seen the evolution of the Model Railroad Club. The uptick in modular railroads is opening up new paths to the hobby. Social media, it does have a lot of negative things that can be attributed to it, but it has also spread our hobby like nothing else. This is exposing younger and younger audiences to model railroading. Don't believe me? Just go on TikTok. Young kids are running trains everywhere. The bottom line is that we are really entering the first connected global golden age of model railroading. And it's already a ton of fun, and it's going to get even more fun. So speaking of all those businesses, before we go, check out some of these model railroad businesses.
ScaleTree.com. ScaleTree.com makes hero and forest trees for HO and N-scale. They also do custom trees for custom orders. Check them out at ScaleTree.com. Trains in the Valley. Trains in the Valley is a model train shop located in Pennsylvania. They sell new and used model trains with a mission to make trains accessible to everyone. You can check them out at trainsinthevalley.com, link in the description. Model Railway Backshop is a great place if you're looking for a quality paint job for your old or new brass model locomotive. And if you're looking to get that brass model weathered, you can get that done too. Plus DCC and sound upgrades. And right now you can get 10% off any brass model painting and weathering job by using the promo code NMRA10. Check them out at modelrailwaybackshop.com. Penguin 3D Workshop offers 3D prints and electronics for model railroading, specializing in hard or impossible to find train parts, and they also offer custom designing and printing. Use promo code DDRR5OFF to get 5% off your order. Check them out at penguin3dworkshop.com.
I want to know what you're most excited for in model railroading. Leave that in the comments below, along with the coffee that you are drinking. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, drink some coffee, and happy railroading.